I'm Victor Rivera, and this is D&Me, where I play with myself. I play D&D with myself. This is D&Recap, where I summarize 5 episodes of D&Me at a time. Episode 41, Full Foyer. After interrupting the 3 owners of the Restful Lily painting a portrait, Victorious is sat out in the foyer to wait their turn. With a hint from an exiting Glimmer, Rock realizes that Sayeth has a hag eye pinned to his shirt. Destroying the hag eye will cause psychic damage to the hags and blinds them for 24 hours. With a casting of magic missile, the fighting starts. Peggy blindly barges out of the door in her true hag form, Peggy Pigknuckle, a hulking rust-colored red furred monster with a huge muscular arm and a shriveled-up weak one. After some blows, she is downed. Morgana, or Dread Morgan, a greasy, dreadlocked, cankerous-lipped, elongated lupine form, runs up the stairs, as did Sayeth before her, and Tipsy and Wishes follow. Onyx defeats Auntie Warmheart's Mastiff, that turned into a hellhound, and Tootoot goes inside the art studio to find no trace of the last hag. Episode 42, Stone Tower. Auntie Warmheart drops her invisibility, revealing a bark-skinned, tree-like being with bugs crawling out of her and empty eye sockets, and that she had crawled out and away from her wheelchair. She convinces Onyx and Tootoot to go fight Morgana. On the second story, Tipsy finds Sayeth, transformed back into a devil-red winged cambion, holding Circumstance hostage in a room full of paintings. Circumstance then drops his elf disguise for his chameleon lizard folk state, and viciously tears into Sayeth's throat. And in the final floor of the stone tower, Tipsy, Onyx, and Tootoot confront Morgana in the Hag's Lair, while downstairs Rock finishes Auntie Warmheart off with a brutal use of phantasmal force, forcing images of her and the other hags' true forms into the mind of the blind hag, causing her to die from these horrible sights as the first and last things she'll ever see. Episode 43, The Shrine. In the third longest D&Me episode in a row, the boys loot the bodies and rooms of the stone tower, and they head over to The Shrine, a grown-over ruin that was formerly a place of worship for Seiyun. After having a hard time getting into the building, they then find Sylvari in the basement, only to discover that she has been cursed into an 8-foot-tall Medusa. With promise of safety and that the hags have been taken care of, Sylvari is blindfolded and led upstairs, where Onyx then destroys some paintings with successful athletic rolls and restores Sylvari and Glimmer. They go inside the lounge to find that the nameless employees that were defeated earlier were actually scarecrows with the seeming spell placed on them, and exhausted, the party goes to sleep. Tootoot with Sylvari's company. Episode 44, Damp Denouement. Waking up around noon, Victorious and all the NPCs meet up in the Bath and Hot Spring to wrap up all the loose ends for the Restful Lily. It turns out that, 10 years ago, the hags formed a coven and tempted Sylvari to get her painting done. The magical paintings done by Peggy Pigknuckle, Dread Morgan, and Auntie Wormblood give you something you've always wanted, but only for a year. A year and a day later, you are cursed to the detrimental opposite of the desired effect. For example, Glimmer, first a 5'5" white tiefling, wanted to be taller, but was cursed to become an even smaller Kenku and forced to work for the hags. Sylvari stays at the Restful Lily with Ilmar, her drow friend and Harper spy who was petrified in the basement. AU has her intelligence restored and returns to the Candlekeep libraries. And Tipsy, Onyx, Rock, Tootoot, Wishes, Waddles, Glimmer, Chainco, and Circumstance use the Price of Beauty portal to return to Waterdeep, carrying the remaining magical paintings from the stone tower. They find a small crowd outside Tipsy's tavern, led by Water Genasi Aquafina and her son Jorge Walter, both of whom Tootoot met at a walking statue, and her Earth Genasi wife Roxanne. In a hurried, unofficial opening of Tipsy's tavern, Victorious hastily serves food and drink, and Tootoot ends the night by singing a The Restful Lily Bathhouse Hotel California parody. Episode 45, Triptych. In the first third of this episode, Rock takes Wishes to Sweet Treat to reward him with cinnamon sugar goodness, and confectionery chaos ensues. He then tries to return Wishes to Sheen at the Seven Masks Theater, but Wishes ends up wanting to stay with Rock. Next, Tootoot and Glimmer try to destroy the paintings, but low athletic rolls almost down Tootoot, so they find Angel the Asimar city guardsman and use his celestial blood to end the magical curses. And finally, Tipsy offers the were-rats jobs working at Tipsy's tavern, which they accept, and after relocating them to the manor's basement, Tipsy asks Rock to perform Remove Curse. Thank you for watching and listening. Tune in to the next episode of D&Recap for episodes 46 through 50.